Hello, guys, and welcome to the Deep Surface Podcast, man. Listen, I am absolutely honored to be here today. What's up, fellas?
What's happening, bro?
What's good?
It was hard to get here today. I ain't gonna lie to you. It was, man. It was a lot of changes. Sometimes God do that. God likes to see sometimes how bad you want things. How bad do you really want it? You know what I mean? And when you're inside of your dream, man, there's a lot of nightmares. Inside of your dream, there are a lot of nightmares. There's a lot of you falling off the buildings. There's a lot of you getting shot, then waking up. There's a lot of stuff that happened in your dreams. If you decide to chase it, greatness is not easy. So, I'm glad to be here tonight and to make it to this chair, man, and be able to talk with these brilliant guys, man. And we've just been talking off camera about a lot of different things, man. And but on a lighter note, we always kind of start with, talking a little sports. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, I want to give them a shout out to as well. I want to start there. Them considering hiring Louis Riddick as a GM. That's a big step.
Yeah.
That's a big step. I'm not saying it's monumental. I'm not saying it's the greatest thing to ever happen. But the Pittsburgh Steelers are starting to step up and realize what we need in the NFL before they get left, before the NFL gets left. Because at some point, Mark, we're going to take over one way or another. Either you're going to give it up or we're going to take it. We the captain of the ship now. So kudos to the Steelers, Mark. What do you think about that move? I know we talked about it a little bit on the chat about that move. What is the significance of that move if they possibly hire Louis Riddick as a GM?
I definitely agree with you. I definitely think it's a big, big move. The Rooney family has shown great leadership in that area. Black coach, hire Brian Flores when probably no other NFL team would have touched him.
Yeah.
That's good. Yep.
And now to be looking at Louis Riddick, not to mention they've had several black quarterbacks.
Absolutely.
Throughout the tenure of the Steelers, and a lot of franchises have never had black quarterbacks.
They did. Cordell still wrong, but we're gonna let him slide.
Cordell wasn't the best situation, but they kept Charlie.
Let's keep going. Make your
they
point.
kept him on roster on payroll for a long
They
time.
they had Charlie Sambo on that.
Batch.
He was tapped.
Yeah.
Yo, they had Charlie.
Hey, he had some Lionel Richie. You like Lionel Richie? Yeah.
They did my boy wrong.
Man. But to their credit, and if they end up hiring Louis Riddick, it's like, you could say what you want to say, that it's window dressing, this, that, and the other thing. But at some point, when you hand over the reign to a black brother on every level, there's a lot to be said for that.
It is.
No doubt.
Because people don't realize the GM makes the decisions.
Yes.
Player personnel.
Yeah.
They draft. They do a lot of different things. They basically run the football operations, and I think that's a prominent position to have. Jay, what you think about that possible Louis Riddick hiring?
I think it's cool, man. I think that along with the actual Rooney rule, I think it's a great thing, but I don't want us to go down a rabbit hole of just hiring black coaches.
Come on,
because I don't want us to become complacent with just getting in because we're black.
Right.
Got you.
I want us to be better.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And I want us to be so good. A few brothers get in. If this situation goes well and it shines so bright to where they don't have a choice but to try it in other places.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's because I don't want to get into a situation to where, like, now they're just pacifying us and, okay, well, we're going to put this person here and that, because it doesn't really do anything for us growth-wise. But I think it's a great thing.
And Keegan, I think this is, this sets a precedent. And Jay talked about the responsibility on our part, but the more and more we see representation, the more and more we can dictate certain things and not just being hired because we're black. Yeah. But it's the merit starts to creep in now. Now it's about merit, because that's all we want in the first place. Jay, I'll be your token for right now, but I want to be hired on merit. Let's compete eye to eye. And that's all I think, Keegan, that we've been asking for.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. That's all we've been asking for.
Yeah, no one wants to be tokened.
Yeah.
Right. So tokenism is a big thing. But tokenism actually provides a pathway. So you think about how the Dolphins did Mike Tomlin before he had to steal his job. Right?
Oh, I forgot about that.
You know, and so you
forgot about that.
And I will say this, let's be clear. Mike Tomlin is an excellent coach.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Like excellent
He
coach.
is.
Absolutely.
Can run a team, can manage egos, he's an excellent coach. Brian Flores did more with less than most coaches in the league with the Dolphins. And Louis Riddick has a pedigree.
He does.
So Mark earlier,
Great announcer,
he
too.
put the Raiders in that AFC Championship game with the Patriots. That was his team that had the Rich Gannon and all those guys. That was his team.
yeah.
So Riddick has an actual pedigree. We're not talking about somebody just got bought the street because you're black. Like this guy actually has done the job and done it well. So I will get to this right here. They're not only hiring black, they hire black excellent talent. Like, so they got some good people in the organization. So I think that should be said. Those individuals are actually highly talented and highly qualified.
Can I just say one thing to that, Steve? We don't necessarily have to worry about being tokens on those levels because we're not even going to get an opportunity if we don't have the resume.
Right.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
So
That's good.
It's not even
True.
like we're
It's a
going
good
to
point.
be a token that they're going to call us into interview for a job that they don't know we're already super qualified.
Yeah.
Because they have to give some explanation to their board, and to their comrades. How'd you hire
To their
that?
fans,
So,
yeah.
Yeah. So we're not even getting that interview just on the merit of, oh, he knows football.
Or he just
that's
black.
not happening to
Yeah,
us.
that's
Now,
true.
There are people that get those interviews, but that's not our people.
Tokenism. That's a thing that happens. They put pretty Negro in front of us. Whatever it is, male or female. They put it in front of us. Say, look, here, see,
That
we
person
did it.
did it.
And I think that's Jay's concern. I think that's Jay's main concern, that we get so deep into the shiny gifts. The one person making it, signifying that everybody did. But that's not the reality of it.
A lot of times we get rocked to sleep
Yeah.
with stuff like this, and this is what I don't want to happen. And I agree with Mark that, you know, right now you have to be way overqualified just to be considered. But I don't want this thing to be, oh, well, they're so nervous that, you know, they're going to throw a brother here, throw a brother there. No, I want us to build a pedigree. And tokenism is a real thing, and it has to, like Keegan said, it does provide a pathway, but we have to continue to, when we get those opportunities, put ourselves in a position where we can't be denied. You know what I'm saying?
And to that point, Jay, not only be better, but also when you get in that position of power, pull that brother up next time.
Yeah,
That's good.
So it's not only it's not going to token. When I hire him, he's good.
He's good, yeah.
It won't be tokenism at that particular point.
And
So
that-
pull the next person up.
And Ivan, that's the big thing
Sorry,
with token to me. And I'm gonna come to you, Ivan. That's the big thing with tokenism, is that when we get in a position, we won't hire our own.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't stick to the script they stick to. Because listen, they hiring everybody on their team. Everybody. I don't matter what culture it is. If they're Indians, they hire Indians. If they're Mexicans, they're hiring Mexicans. If black people, they hire white people. We won't get enough. We can't have
So
too
if
many. of us
we're
in the room.
black, if I'm black and I'm the GM, or let's just say I'm black and I'm the team owner, for God's sake, right? Is it my responsibility to hire a black GM, or do I hire the best GM out there that's
And that's a pickle. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's a pickle. I want to say the best, but
It's not a
Whoa. No, it's
It's a-
not.
it's
It's
a-
not.
No, it's not a pickle.
let's
It's
be-
not a pickle.
no,
It's
what I'm saying, it's a pickle because you do want to, because we have to do 2 times better than they do. Louis Riddick has to be better than what's the guy from Murdoch, from the Raiders. He was the GM from the Raiders. I forgot. Is it Mike Murdoch? I forgot his.
It's Mike. I think it is.
Well, he was awful. He was awful as a GM.
But I
But
want to
when
go
Louis
back
Riddick
to
come in,
that.
he has to be good.
But let's not
Better than good.
assume that the best candidate isn't black.
That's what I'm saying. So for
I'm not-
me,
let's not assume
now
that.
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be a bit biased, and I'm going to tell you that I feel like it is my responsibility as a team owner to hire a black GM and me work with him and make him
Yes,
I agree.
the best
I agree.
GM. Because I think it's at some point, how do we get there if we don't take on that mindset?
Absolutely.
And I think a
I
lot
agree.
of us get to a position to where we're able to call shots, and we're like, okay, well,
Scared.
I was treated
fear.
biasly.
Scared.
I don't want to treat it. But hey, you gotta play the game. When you get the ball, don't give it up.
Don't give it up.
Don't give it up.
You know, now you dig.
I'm just being honest, and that's the way we got. That's the mentality we have to have, and within that, we have to continue to get better, so that we're not always knocking on the door begging.
Right.
We continue to build something.
And the very thing we don't want it to start to look like is tokenism or nepotism, because that's what's been able to keep us out of the room the whole time, right? And so we don't want it to look that way, but I don't think that we should want it to look that way. And the reason why is because, just like Steve said, you want to make sure that you're hiring the best. I don't think that you hire, because, you know, I mean, you just think about it on a lower level. Do you hire black just because they're black? Because we've seen situations where, I mean, we just saw a situation where somebody was equally or is just as qualified, and they were basically already saying that they were going to hire the white guy. Why is
what
that?
situation was this?
The one that took place in with the Patriots.
Oh, with the Patriots.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so the thing is like sometimes I just think when you're in that position, you got to make sure you manage yourself well, right? Because you don't want to do anything that look like nepotism, but you also want to make sure that you get your people in the room.
But
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with
Yeah, I'm okay with
nepotism.
nepotism. I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with nepotism.
No, I hear your point, Ivan, but I'm okay with it.
But that's the condition that Jay's talking about. Like my inability to believe that I can hire somebody that looks like me and not be questioned by it.
So that's what I mean when I say, and the reason I brought that up is that's just what I mean when I say white supremacy, right? Because subconsciously, a lot of us believe.
Well, first of all, I did not say that.
He didn't say that.
Absolutely not.
But I was over there saying, we sick, boss?
You know, a lot of us buy into that, and we got to understand that. Like, it doesn't matter. I mean, like, excuse my French, but I don't give a damn what it looks like.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay.
Like, you know, and nobody else cares to us what it looks like.
And that's true. That's true.
Also, being a leader, Keegan, you know this, being a leader in corporate America, if you've ever been a leader in corporate America, when you are a leader, all your decisions are judged with a fine-tooth comb.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Every decision you make, and you see white counterparts just make decisions.
Right.
Frivolously, just make them. You have to be measured, countered. You have to go through it again. You have to make sure, you have to explain your decisions. And those things do creep up the fear that Ivan was talking about. We got to get over that, though.
But why do you have to do all that?
I disagree with that. Because all our lives, we've had to be faster, stronger, and brighter. And guess what? We do it.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
So Louis Reddit, if he gets that job, he's going to kill it. He's going to kill that job.
Right.
He's already did it.
He's already
did it.
Tomlin is the most winning coach in
Yes.
in
Never had a losing season, right?
Never had a losing season.
Killing it. So guess what? We are making the assumption that the best and the brightest are not black.
That's the point I was making earlier.
Which is a twisted mentality, because some of the best and the brightest and the strongest
absolutely.
are black people.
Absolutely.
Those are the people we're talking about. We're not trying to go hire no scrubs, incompetent people that can't get the job done. Of course, we do have a certain mantle to make sure that the job gets done.
And that's what I meant by nepotism. Don't just be hiring just because black, right? You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to sort out and I'm going to grab this because I've seen it in corporate America where the person was an absolute scrub and they got a way better job than what I actually even started off with, and was started with a better salary, and they had nothing to bring to the table. And that's all I'm saying. That's what we don't want it to actually be, or to start to do that. Because again, we want to make sure that we're in the room, but also making sure we're doing what Steve is saying and making sure that the best person is in the room.
Because even Mike Tomlin got questioned. Remember the about going back to college. So what I'm saying, even him being all that he is, his mantle was still questioned. He was still questioned. But speaking of question,
I got a parallel to this situation. But if you want to go further, you want to go to the subject, go ahead.
No, I was just going to go to the brown lady.
That's where I wanted to go as a parallel.
That's what you were
great segue.
Yeah, because I was going to talk about tokenism with
Yeah.
with the lady, what's her name?
Ketanji Brown.
Ketanji Brown. You know, she's been nominated by Joe Biden for the Supreme Court. She's a young black woman too, right?
She's 40,
40
mid
something.
40,
For
yeah.
a Supreme Court, they all old. They listen, that Supreme Court, that's different. The highest court in the land, and I think that is unbelievable. I don't have a but or a however. This is a representation of, to me, tokenism. I think it's a for sure pathway. And here's my problem with tokenism, not with her, not with anything, because I want her to get, and I want her to be in the office. Tokenism, when it happens, the majority of black people, in my opinion, never benefit, because it's always putting one person on the mantle, one set group on the mantle. But black people as a collective never get the benefits of tokenism, in my opinion. We're making progress. But even putting her in Supreme Court, is that gonna change the landscape of what we're going through, Mark? Is that gonna give us a different pathway to where we're on right now? Is that gonna make Congress? Is it gonna make the Republicans? Is that gonna make the Democrats do better by us? And it's nothing to do with her. It's nothing to do with her contribution or her accolades or anything that she got going on. It's just tokenism. It's just, you keep giving me these things, but you're not giving me what I'm actually asking for.
Well, okay, so the question is it going to change anything? Here and now, no. Because we're still going to be...
That's good.
It's still going to be a minority on the Supreme Court. The right is still going to have a 6-3 majority. So nothing she says or does is going to sway that. She's taking just Chief Justice Breyer's position, which is just a one-for-one replacement.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
However, when you start talking about the hundreds of thousands of young black girls that are in elementary school, middle
They
school,
can see that.
see,
That was a clap.
Chief Justice that looks like their mother,
Representation.
their aunties,
Representation.
it's going to change a landscape of things versus looking at a Supreme Court judge and seeing all these white men, one black man, and no black woman. So some change is gradual and takes time. And so is it going to change anything? In the here and now, no, seemingly no. But in the future, hopefully, yes.
Jay, how should we approach that? I think, how should we, because I get frustrated. I get frustrated because, I haven't been on Earth long, but, the time I've been on Earth, I just keep getting promised stuff. And I'm sure my ancestors and their ancestors got promised all these things and it never came to fruition. And we get these things that still doesn't in the here and now. Like I keep hearing, it won't change anything in the here and now. Well, I hear that for 10 years from now. It won't change anything for the here and now. I get it, but the frustration, how should I approach it without demeaning the incredible accomplishment of this young lady, because she does represent a lot of young black girls. I don't want to do that, but I got to address the elephant in the room because it keeps being, okay, just wait for a little bit. Change is coming. Change is coming. That's just my perspective. Go ahead.
Well, when it comes to change, you have to give change a perspective, right? Because change isn't changing until something changes, right? But change is not something that takes place overnight. And to me, I feel like I don't think that you look at, okay, the future part of it. I think you try to create the change that you want to see. And I think you do it the very way that Mark just said. The young black women that are going to see this woman sitting there, I think that's where you actually will start to see that change. That might be tokenism right now, but 200 years from now, that may be something that looks completely different. Now I know you're thinking like 200 years from now, but sometimes, so we got to think about, Dick Gregory. Sometimes you got to be willing to allow things to be seen in the next lifetime instead of being seen in your own.
Can we look? Go ahead.
And so I think if we continue to keep planting, because how do things take place? What's that metamorphosis? You got to plant seeds. And once a seed is planted and that plant starts to grow, then that's going to produce a fruit. And so I think, to Mark's point, I think that's the exact way that we need to actually see change.
But what I'm saying is, I get that if we had the power, do we have the actual power? Is this creating power for our community to be able to see that change you're talking about?
Well, when I look at this, I'm going to tell you something. This is going to surprise y'all. But I give
Let me see
Democrats.
Jay getting liberal.
Hold on, Jay.
Jay getting
I
liberal.
need you to sit up for this
I'm
one,
gonna be
cuz if you
honest
say it,
though,
it'll surprise us.
but you know I'm fair. I play the game fair. I give Democrats absolute hell. I never liked Joe Biden. I probably never will. But look at this for what it is. It's not changed 200 years from now. It's changed right now. They owe us. They're paying the bill.
Okay.
That's power.
Okay.
We keep coming to the table.
That's good. Okay.
And we there's an agenda being pushed, right? So there's a ton of justices that could have been chosen, but they owe us. They owe us.
And to Jay's point, President Biden is fulfilling a promise made.
There you go.
He is fulfilling a promise. They, on the campaign trail, they said, would you commit to naming an African-American as a chief judge right now? And he said, I would. He's delivering his promise.
All I'm saying is
The
there's
only-
a promise about student loans too.
But yes, that's true.
All I'm saying is
That's
what
very
I'm
true.
saying is-
That's
This is
very
what
true.
I'm saying. I'm talking about the things that put us collectively right now in a better position that they can do.
But you know-
Obama, not Obama, but Biden can do this. He can, with the stroke of a pen, executive order, he can do this in terms of student loans. I'm saying that's something that he ran on, but he gave us something like this. Again, it has nothing to do with her, and it might be progress, but he could have made extreme effective change with the student loan situation that he promised.
He could have did two things. He could have did both. That's one.
Absolutely.
I'll start there.
Okay.
But I'll say this about the Supreme Court pick. To Mark's point earlier, it is changed now, Jay, to your point, because that little girl you're talking about, my daughter, she's impacted today.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So regardless of, because you're right, we're not going to change the court's 6-3 or 5-4 decision making right now based on conservative versus liberal. But that little girl has representation right now. That changes right now. That is impactful. Where I would say it did not have to be tokenism, Biden, with implicit bias, made it that. He had to say, I'm going to choose a black justice, only put black justice up. He could have said, I'm going to choose the best justice and pick a black person. It's about
That's
how you do
good.
things.
That's good.
It's about how you do
That's
things.
good.
Because now what you gave the world to see is that, he put a pool of black
gotta
folks up
campaign
against
in
each other. To compete against, yeah, exactly. It was not, I got the best just across all of them. No, I got the best of blacks. I would say he made a mistake there. But to that point, still a powerful pick. Campaign promise fulfilled. And I'm happy for him. I want to see the next one come through.
Yeah.
And I would say, let's stop playing games because, again, like Tomlin, like Brian Flores, like Louis Riddick, this woman has an extremely good pedigree.
No question.
Her decision-making trees, her opinions about what she decides on, it's been impeccably looked at, and they
Yes.
all applaud this woman. So we ain't talking about some drop shot from the street that she just picked because she's black. Nah, talented woman, and they all were. But my point is, you can also stack her up against any white person. Don't put it just white people. Just put it up against white people as well.
Yeah.
That's I think the miss was that from a visual perspective. He missed the bar on that. But I'm happy with the pick. I'm proud of the pick. I want to support the pick, of course.
Absolutely.
I want the next one too.
And we definitely support Ms. Brown. We definitely supporting her. No questions asked. Even if she married. I'm just kidding. See, I ain't that toxic. I promise you I'm not that toxic.
I can't tell, but go ahead.
But, you know, I think for us as black people, we just got to demand better. And, Jay, I've been on your message. I've been hearing you, Jay. And we just got to want better for ourselves. And we got to demand better for ourselves. Like, I get it. I want progress. But when you can do something for me and you choose not to do it and you give me this, is it progress? Because Biden can do this, but he choosing whatever for what Washington, whatever, whoever you call them, whoever's making the decision can do things for the collective, and that's what I'm concerned about. Mostly, I'm not concerned about resumes. I don't care if it was a woman or a man. I'm concerned about the collective nature of black people and what we are owed. I ain't asking for anything that we're not owed. Mark, reparations. I'm not, and they can come in any forms. So I'm not asking for anything, Jay, that we're not owed. I'm just saying, when do we stop accepting the bare minimum? I'm not saying this is the bare minimum. I'm saying when somebody can
Consolation
do
prize.
better, when somebody can do better by you, even in a relationship, you have to demand more.
We allow it. You know, the thing is, even as you speak so eloquently, you're saying that they have the power and we don't. We have the power to push our agenda. And until we believe that, and until we make them do it, we can have this conversation for the next 100 years.
Yeah.
We have to understand and believe that we have the power. And it's not going to come in the way that they did it, right? We might have to walk through the wilderness for a while.
Come on.
But we headed for a destination.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we have to focus on that promised land and keep pushing our agenda and keep forcing our agenda. They don't have the power over us. We got to get out of that mindset. There was a time when that was the case, but now, and I will even go, I'm not even going to get into that, but we believe.
Get into what? Go ahead.
That I'm not going to get
I
into
go to the weeds. I listen to. I
we
don't give a
believe
fuck
that
about
they
the
have
weeds.
the
I go
power.
to the. If you want,
But they don't have the power. They don't have the power over me. I don't believe that. I don't buy into it. I understand why a lot of us believe that. They sit in some of the powerful positions, and we feel as though we have to keep going to them and begging for something. And in this case, even with Biden, I said it before about the election thing. We don't have the power. We had this debate over black people and forcing an election. We do have the power to throw an election. So we have the power to say, okay, Mr. Biden, you didn't deliver. We out. We're going to do something different. We're going to move a different direction. That's power, because we do have enough power to make an influence on a lot of things, especially in locally. And we're seeing that. We're seeing change in places locally, on the state levels, and it's going to be federal. But it's never going to happen unless we start to believe. And believe that the power, I don't believe that anything that we manifest comes from outside of us.
come on.
It all comes from our inside. I believe that.
That's good. Jay, that was good. Because manifestation is what you believe about yourself. You manifest things, what you believe about who you really are. And until you change your perspective, until you challenge your perspective, you won't know who you really are. So you'll keep accepting things. And I think we all do that sometimes. I do it. We're all guilty of it. We're all guilty of it, trying to manifest things outside of ourselves. But listen, if you look within inside of yourself, you know that you're the answer and you're the problem. Both. I'm the answer and I'm the problem to everything that I got going on. But speaking of what's going on, we got a war going on, Mark. Man, it's unavoidable to talk about. We got a war going on.
Crazy.
Russia and Ukraine, man. And let me say to the Ukrainian people, if you're watching this, if you ever watch this, we're praying for you. We're praying for your families. We're praying for everybody out there involved, because people don't understand, when war starts. See, we get caught up in the hoopla of war in the names like Putin and the president and the United States, but we don't realize there's women and children. Absolutely. And there's innocent people that are being just killed because of politicians arguing over this and that. And we don't realize the true casualties and the collateral damage that happen in war, man. So, Mark, I want to just ask you, man, what do you make of this war? Where is it going? And what is the potential absolute damage that this war can do, not only to the Ukrainian economy, but just how can it affect us? Because here's the thing, Mark. And Ivan, I talked to you about this before. Why you text on your phone on the podcast?
It was fight related.
But America, why are you so violent? Because America always seems, under every circumstances, anytime there's conflict, there's war, America stick their nose somewhere in between. Go look around. Any war, any conflict, America right there in between. I know why we're in between this.
Okay, because
I got a kind of argument to that, but I'm gonna let you.
You don't think? Hold on. You don't think America's violent?
I never said that part. I'm talking about the war in Ukraine. But go ahead, Mark.
No. Go ahead, Mark.
He's going to push back where I would push back to. The war in Ukraine, America is not sticking their nose in.
No, they're not. As a
They
matter of
should be.
fact, they falling back.
Let's look at the totality of this situation in Ukraine. First of all, people are not going to like this, but this war has a lot to do with Donald Trump.
It does.
Do tell.
If we look at all of Donald Trump's crony men, Michael Flynn,
Cohen,
Manafort, Giuliani, they was all running with Russian oligarchs,
Yeah, they were the billionaires.
trying to get favors and things out of them, and in the meantime, telling Ukraine if they gave them what they needed, they was going to have protection. That's in layman's terms. We don't know that for sure, but the way it looks is that's what was going on. Putin, Trump's love affair with Putin, has come home.
Chicken come on the roost.
Come home to roost. I'm not in there. The hands, take the gloves off, do what you got to do. Russia's position, they want Ukraine for the resources. It just expands Russia's territory. They could move over, take Ukraine. Ukraine has plenty more resources than Russia.
They do.
Russia's a cold, desolate
It is. No question.
Ukraine has minerals,
bitter cold.
ores. They have farmland. They have a lot more potential.
It's a diversified landscape,
lot more
really is.
diversified to produce revenue. So this is just the beginning. And when you say that the United States stick their head, if they don't go in and protect their NATO allies and draw borders for Russia, Russia might start with Ukraine, continue to Poland, continue out through that whole region. So the United States has to establish borders. Now, what I would say is that the United States did not get into it because notice the countries that are really quiet about this whole thing.
Yeah.
China
Yeah, that's
and
my.
India. So Putin, my belief is, and it may be a standalone belief, but my belief is Putin did not invade Ukraine without China saying, do what you
That's
gotta
it.
do.
That part. That part.
Well, you and I both know China.
That's why they've been
China.
buddy-buddy.
But
Yeah.
They've been buddy-buddy.
Exactly. And the moment that the United States gets in, now China got to get in. Now we got World War III.
But my point, that. So what I'm saying is that it leads back to what I talked about, violence. It leads back, regardless of the reason.
Well, let's make sure that I'm all about America being violent, and I'm not an America apologist. I'm really not. But let's be clear, NATO is dropping the ball.
Right.
It's NATO's job to go and defend Ukraine. It's their job. No, that
ain't
is
disagreeing with you.
that's scripture in the gospel of their particular articles. Is NATO's job.
But Ukraine is not a member of NATO.
Correct. But they all want to stop Russia. Not just America. They all want to stop Russia. So if America goes in by themselves, now it becomes America's problem, and it's not our problem. And Jay don't want us to go to that from a tax perspective. Well, he may. I don't know. But Mark doesn't, right? That's NATO's job. That's NATO's job.
We just got out of
But that's one reason why the president of Ukraine was at NATO saying, hey, look, he said he's going to war before it happened. What are y'all doing? He was actually in the seat talking to NATO. This is your job. You want to stop them? Stop it here. But everybody want to make it America's problem because we have the biggest military, you said earlier, right? And I would say it's only America's problem because we don't want to see Russia get stronger. That's the issue.
Why don't you want to see Russia get stronger?
Why not?
So let's dig. See,
Because you
now
talk.
we'll dig
No,
back into
so let's go here. I'm gonna make it very, very simple. It is democracy versus authoritarianism.
Correct.
That's all it's about.
Correct.
That's all it's about.
what they got to do with it. So what America got to do with that?
What you mean?
Because there's communism everywhere. There's socialism everywhere. Why does America have to stick their nose in everything?
Because you never want to get
They're not.
Country, you never want to strengthen.
Or is America a democratic country or we're a republic?
We're a republic.
We're
We sell
a
democracy.
republic.
We sell democracy. But
We do. That's all we do is sell democracy.
But to Mark's point, if you let Russia with bad intentions get stronger, you let North Korea with bad intentions get stronger.
Correct.
Now you're talking about somebody who don't care about pushing that button.
Correct.
genocide, warfare everywhere. Yeah, those are the real bad guys.
What if are those the real bad guys?
I think so.
Those are real bad guys.
I think so.
See, I don't agree.
Jay,
with that.
I think Jay disagrees.
I don't agree
Jay
with
with that
that.
piper right there.
See,
Jay with that piper right there.
Listen, I'm proud to be an American. I am. I'm an American. I'm not a blue blood, but I'm an American. But I know what we are. And when I said that America, when I said America, why can't you admit you're violent? Because it all leads back to that, Mark. Everything you say, the direct issue you're talking about with Russia and Ukraine, it may not be that. But when we talk about the larger picture, we don't want Russia to get. Why don't you want Russia to do that? Because all over the world, wars have always went on. Always went on. But America always somehow seems. We just got out for how long the war we just got out of, Mark, in Iran?
No doubt about it.
20 years.
20 years. But let me ask you a question personally.
I get a question.
Are you comfortable with strengthening dictators?
I am. Here's the thing. We don't have one dictator
No,
as a
stop that,
face
Steve.
that we can
Answer the
point
question.
to.
Answer the question, Steve. Answer the question, Steve. Answer the question, Steve. Answer the question, Steve. Yeah. Answer the question, Steve.
All I'm saying is, here's how I'm gonna answer this question. Because Putin, Saddam, Gaddafi, whatever you want to call
Don't
him,
put Gaddafi in there.
keep
bro.
going.
Please
I don't
do
think
that.
Gaddafi was.
He ain't the
We can
same.
keep going.
Okay.
He's not
Bin
the
Laden,
same.
whatever you want to call them. All the figures were one man. We call those dictators, but we got thousands of dictators in Congress that won't even help their own people. We got people in Congress that won't even make a decision about black people to help them out. So when I say violent, America is violent. America may not be violent physically, but look what they're doing. Economic violence, social violence, emotional violence, spiritual violence. America's violent. So when I see them going over to help other country, is it really for Ukraine? Or was it what Keegan just said? Not for Russia to get stronger. And why don't we want other countries to get stronger? Why is it our business? Why are we worried about that? Why is that in our wheelhouse?
So, in other words, you don't want to answer the question.
He didn't answer your question, right, boy? He didn't answer your question, yeah.
I did what your American politicians do.
He said there's thousands of dictators in Congress.
No, what I'm saying is America, what I'm saying is there is, but we don't know that's going to happen. We
don't know
assuming
what.
that's going to happen.
We
That
don't know
if
what.
Russian gets stronger or if North Korea gets stronger, they're going to push the button.
No, we do know.
We don't
If they
know
take over.
anything.
No.
They may or may not. I'm just saying that I know what America does. I know what we've done for 20. We got evidence. We got evidence that our nose is in everybody's business.
Nobody on this panel is going to deny what America has done.
That's all I'm saying.
And it's capable of doing.
That's all I'm saying.
No one is going to deny that. But what we should agree on is that we don't want to give the additional strength to dictators who have no governing or ruling body.
But one man.
One man. Singular. Say what you want to say about
They got one
Congress.
face. I don't think they have one body. I think they got a face. I think America just treat their
think
presidents like
Steve.
Putin listens
they
to somebody
treat.
else?
Steve.
Yes, Putin
No, he
does.
doesn't. No, he doesn't.
No, he
No,
doesn't.
See, that-
no,
I don't believe that.
bruh. He makes oligarchs.
Yes, he does.
He makes oligarchs. Putin, North Korea's president. These
I'm not
dudes
praising Putin either.
They it sounds like it, but okay. Yeah. They go ahead, Jay. 'Cause I think Jay want to make a point.
No,
Okay.
I'm listening.
So what I would say, Steve, is
I'm
just
not
like
praising Putin.
we were talking about earlier that like somebody might go out here and buy some property over off of I don't know Harris Boulevard,
Absolutely.
right, for a number amount of money, right? That's what we do locally. What countries do is take over other countries. It's the same thing at a macro level. That's how they achieve power. How we achieve extra assets here to build up our net worth is what they do at a country level. It's the same thing. They just use military means to do it because you just can't go out there and buy a country.
Right.
You got to take it over.
Isn't that capitalism?
In a different form, yes.
In a different form?
In a different form, yeah.
Isn't that take it? Listen, I'm asking the question, Mark.
Capitalism.
Why is
Capitalism
America?
is bombing people.
I know I ain't
killing-
saying Bob. No, I'm saying America
Is
has
that
done
what we're
that.
talking about?
America has done the same thing. America has committed egregious crimes against countries. America just pretends. Listen, I'm proud to be an American.
Keep saying
At
it.
least I know I'm.
You might believe it one day.
I am.
And if we're gonna right or wrong based on wrongs, we're never going to get to a right.
No.
Right.
All I'm
That's
saying
facts.
is our moral high ground isn't high as we think it is.
That's a fair
That's
point.
all I'm
That's
saying.
a fair
man.
point, Steve. That's a fair point.
That's
That's a
my
fair point.
Is,
That's a fair point.
That's what I'm trying to say. That
Yeah.
America, we go over and pretend like we're protecting, but we always have a motive.
But Steve, we're in competition with these other countries.
I'm okay with that.
We're in competition.
Well, just say it then.
Yeah. Well, they
don't-
can't.
Yeah.
They just can't.
That's my point.
They just can't.
America, why then can't you admit you're violent?
I mean, I don't know about
That's
that, but
my
go ahead.
point.
Go ahead, Mark.
But
Go ahead.
what I'm saying is, don't get your vision blurred on some of the things that America have done that we will all agree has not been right, and try to make this one the equivalent.
Yeah.
Because we can't do that. If you got to look at cases on a case-by-case basis, not justifying anything that America has ever done, including this 20-year war. No justification there. What we're talking about is this war, Russia against Ukraine, is wrong. Period.
What you think, Jay?
On a world scale, everybody looks at America and laughs. Mexico used to come all the way up to the Colorado River.
That's true.
Come on.
Sure.
What we're talking about is we're constantly sold a narrative, right? There's a narrative that we're sold day in and day out and we even buy into it. Even though we know that our own people have been persecuted in this land, we buy into that America is here and everybody else is here. We buy into that. So there's all the information that we get. I'm slow to speak on some things, and I'll reel this back in a minute because I'm going to be honest, I don't have enough information on Putin or Kim Jong-il or whatever his name is.
Jong-un, something like that.
I
Kim
have no
Jong-un.
enough. I don't really have any real documented information to know what this person is really about. But I know if I'm dealing with a female like America, I'm going to protect myself because I know what she's capable of. I've seen her in action, and she's in action day in and day out all over the world, pushing an agenda.
Yes, she is.
Mistreating people. There's so many things, man, that I can speak on, and the Gaddafi thing is one that just really, really burns me up, bro. And I'm not even gonna go there, but
Oh, yeah, I
I think
love
that I
it.
think
Yeah,
the issue is that we're and I'm not saying I will not dispute anything that any one of y'all said because I don't know. I'm gonna be totally honest. I don't know what Putin is capable of. Only thing I know is what I'm being told.
That's fair.
That's you know what I mean.
That's fair.
And what the narrative that we're being sold is that this is an evil man, and we have no idea what he's. But I don't know that. I don't know those things to be true. But what I can say is that I know the influence that America has on the world, and I know that most of the world doesn't look at America the way that we look at America, and we have to understand that
Fair.
and understand why. You know what I mean? America has no problem day in and day out committing genocide on its own people. Oh, no issues. But we'll go outside of this land and say, oh, well, we're going to our reasoning for invading and bombing Iraq is we're going to push democracy on those people. But if you, and I'm not a biblical guy, but if you go back into the Bible, this is a religious thing that they've got going on.
yes.
You got
Holy
different sets of religions, and they're
Holy
never going to get along. And so sometimes the only way to deal with those type, that government that they had in place, I don't care what, I'm not sure of what type of man Hussein was. But will we agree that he had a handle on it?
He did.
When he was gone, did you see what happened? Like, I mean, it was just crazy, man.
Wow.
Those people went crazy over there. So what I'm trying to say is that I don't have enough. I think that if Putin is an evil man, if we have evidence that this man is downright evil, and has bad intentions all the way around, then I think that we have a duty to protect our little brother, our little sisters, no matter what. Same thing with the North Korean guy or whatever. But who protects the world against America? We got to understand that, and we have to look
Because how
at
much
that.
are we the antagonists?
Yes.
So I'll say this about your point, because you made that's a great point.
That's good, Jay.
Putin has said he wants revenge for the Soviet Union.
Mm-hmm.
So Jay, we started it. That I will agree with.
Absolutely,
We started it,
yeah.
but he wants revenge. The deal is, I live here. I don't live over there.
That's true.
Right? So we know what he wants to do. He wants to control. He wants to actually attack at some point in time. We know what North Korea makes his people live under as far as communism, and it's not theoretical communism. It's like real live slavery in that country. We know genocide in Myanmar. We know genocide over there. The thing about Gaddafi, they wanted Gaddafi gone because they couldn't control him. When you're talking about printing your own money and having your own currency, no, you can't do that because we can't control that. That's one reason why Bush went after Saddam. When you start having that kind of control and you want those resources, you got to get rid of them. So we know no one is Cinderalizing or romanticizing America. We call ourselves out because it's been done to us. We know what America is. What I do understand is what these other countries are too. We've seen genocide. We've seen it in action, just like we've seen it here. So we know what it means. So to me, if I'm going to be with a bad dude, I want to be the bad dude of America, not the bad dude in Russia. Not the Philippines. The president of the Philippines, who actually cussed Barack Obama out, actually is putting drug dealers to death. I'm not talking about in jail. He's sanctioning killing people who deal drugs.
That's wild.
And he can do it because it's what? A dictatorship.
I mean,
And they can't stop him.
look at the basics of what we're doing right here. 5 brothers on the mic. Some are going to talk about Biden. Jay said he don't care for Biden. I'm saying Trump.
Other places you can't do that.
You can't
Yeah.
do that.
That's
You
true.
can't have that conversation. They would bombard this door in the country you're talking about.
We don't see you no more.
I can't do the podcast in Russia.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even see us again.
I have Putin on.
Yeah, okay. His name is Steve.
Exactly. Because I'm out, bro. You on your own with that one.
There's some clarity. And he runs his own cameras. And he does it all by himself.
Yo, say you love America. Say you love America real quick. Say you love
I'm
America.
proud to be an American. Well, at least I know I'm free.
Free. Say that again.
I just think that we should, and you're right, Mark, because, there's places over in other regions of the world you have no freedom to worship this God or that. There's no freedom at all. So I get that, and I'm totally 100% on board. But what my point is that we look at things through somewhat of a distorted lens
That's true.
sometimes.
That's very true.
That's
You know what I'm
good,
saying?
That's very true.
We have to understand
That's
that.
very true.
Because they don't look, and again, like we often talk about, we'll be hanging out or whatever, and it's real easy to see, man. We always make the comment, man, everybody wasn't raised the same. That's easy
good.
thing
That's
to say.
good.
Yep.
That's the same thing with these
Yeah.
countries.
That's true.
Like,
That's true.
People in China don't know what democracy
Exactly.
is.
That's
They
true.
don't know what freedom being able to say what the fuck they want to say.
we get upset because we'll jump up and down and talk about child labor, and we'll go to Walmart and buy the cheapest whatever.
Yep.
And do you think about the 8-year-old that was up
made
at
it.
3 o'clock in the morning
Nope.
making that toaster oven? Nah, bro. Let me
You
get
going to
that.
hell for
Jay,
that.
I say
that's the
13.
truth.
I say $13 right now. I'm gonna buy
I'm
this
gonna
shit.
buy
Right.
it, and that's so.
Yeah.
And you got to
The
understand.
chip that they put in these iPhones.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you
But-
got to understand it's a different way of life.
You're right.
You know what I mean?
You know, Jay, to your point, because I had a Chinese client I met her mother, and she told me, she was like, yeah, we lived in China. She was like, the beautiful thing about communism is they never lie to you. Want to know why? They don't have to.
You don't have to.
They don't have to.
nothing to you.
He said, but to you, you get lied to every single
Every
day.
day.
That's
They lie to you to control
Yeah,
you.
exactly.
the only person in Congress that had lied to me is Mitch McConnell. That's the
That's a
only person I
fact.
have
Oh, he
respect
lied
for.
to you too, bro.
His name is Steven. Mitch McConnell.
Mitch McConnell told me there's Negroes and there's Americans.
That's true. He did say that. He did say that.
Listen,
You know what
at
you're
least
working
I
with.
know
You know what
exactly
you're
where
working
he
with.
stands.
Yeah, you know what you're working with.
Listen, these folks.
That time.
It don't matter.
That's the first thing Mitch McConnell
He ain't
said
doing nothing.
in his 20 years of being
No.
a senator. Come on. He hasn't lied to you?
My point is
told
that
you that-
I know where he stands, and I know that it don't matter.
It took him to say that for you to know what he stands.
Well,
Have
he
you
said
ever looked
it.
at his voting record?
For real.
Have you ever looked at what he has voted for and what he has not voted for? And now he
Listen.
says that, and you know where he stands.
When Barack got elected, he said the primary mission of the Republican Party is to not let him get a second term.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
all they cared
They
about.
won.
And that's
Yeah.
and that's not the truth. He didn't want to do that, right? But my point exactly. He's saying what he really feels. My point is that everybody, we here in America, we get people campaigning in poetry. We get people telling us lies all the time. We're more people in China, people in Korea. They ain't confused.
Nah, they not.
We don't know what side
They
they're
are
on.
not.
And that's violence because you're committed against your own people.
See, to me, that's freedom
Okay,
because you have a choice.
freedom and violence.
One thing about America, Jay Prince said this. You know, every day you wake up, you got a chance and a choice.
Yes.
Say it again, Jay. So
Every
people
day
can hear
you
back.
wake up,
Every day.
you got a chance and a choice. You even got a choice of whether you're gonna get up and go to AT&T tomorrow. Now, it might not be a good choice if you don't go, but you got a choice. You know what I mean?
Right.
You have that choice.
Steve got a choice that we could buy him a plane ticket and send him to Russia.
Yep.
And he never comes
Never
And never
come
go
back.
back.
He can go with his boy.
We're gonna miss you.
You ain't nothing.
No,
Mark.
I'm just saying. boy.
You supposed to
You
be
have
like,
a choice. Or you can take a chance.
you sitting in
and
Russia.
go to Ukraine.
Nah, I'm going to Russia. I'm being Ukrainian people. I'm being. I ain't got
Chance.
Hey, boy. All right, go to Ukraine.
We go.
I'm not going to Ukraine. I want to go to the winning team. I'll be.
But what Jay says is a fact. That's a fact.
And we're talking about America. Let's stay on America for a second. You know, that is, you know, we talk, and I do think America is inherently violent, but there is some great things to America that we can get up here and have this conversation because in other countries, they can't have this conversation. I will give America that, although it may be motive driven, America did find a formula of freedom and freedom of speech. You know, and that's something that is incredibly important. And it's helped black people to progress as well. Because if we were in Russia and we were oppressed, would we have this much progress? If we were in a third world country and we were oppressed, would we have this much progress? I do give America that type of credit as well. Because even though we've integrated, even though there's a lot of things going on in America, we do have the opportunity to keep fighting without the threat of losing our actual lives. We could lose jobs. We could lose opportunities. But like Jay just said, we got a chance and a choice. We can go, Jay, you didn't just go to it. You said, fuck corporate America. If y'all going to give me what I my value is, Mark, you said if they don't give me my value is, Ivan Keaton, well, I'm out.
Well, they kind of decided for me. That's a different story. That wasn't really an option, bro.
He took a chance, so they made a choice.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a fact, Mark.
It really wasn't in the cards for me, bro.
How would
But
you
that's
rate?
another great thing about it. Like you said, look at America, the fact that you got five brothers sitting around once again
Absolutely.
that have the chance to create and be whatever they want to be. And we have people that we touch that say, if Ivan could do it, I could do it.
Yes.
If Keegan could do it, I could do it. Steve could do it. Mark could do it. Jay could do it. I could do it. We all could do it. We all have that opportunity.
And people in Ukraine don't have that, may not have
You know,
that. People in Russia may not have that opportunity. In
One
China,
of the most
North Korea.
beautiful things, my daughter was real young. I used to always, and even now, like we talk about it, she's in high school now. Where you want to be when you grow up? Think about that. They might if you want to be a doctor, go be a doctor.
That's good. Yep. You can go literally study.
You can do, and that's the thing. Like, you got to understand that. You want to talk about deliverance, bro? You know, you talking 300 plus years of chattel slavery here in
Wow.
America, and now if I want to be my own independent from a background like Keegan has, if I want to be an independent insurance agent, all I got to do is lock in.
There you go.
All I got to do is lock in.
That's it.
So you got to think about how powerful and how free that is. Even though we do have a lot of mountains to climb, bro.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot of mountains to climb.
A lot of
That's
Mount
great,
Everest
bro.
is the crime. Yeah.
But it's still a great thing. We have the ability to
climb
get
it.
up every
To
morning
climb it.
and put our climbing gear on.
Yeah,
Right. We
That's
do.
a blessing.
We do.
That's what's up.
You know what I mean?
That's
What Jay is
good,
saying-
Jay.
And what Jay is saying is amplifying change that somebody 40, 50 years ago was the first black insurance agent.
That's true.
And somebody in that room said, I don't see no change that we making.
Yeah.
But they didn't know
Right.
that 40, 50 years later, there was going to be a Keegan that came along.
That's true.
That can
was
represent
gonna
all of us at
represent
some point.
Everybody
Yeah.
and stand on that person's shoulders and be that guy that they fought for change.
No
So what
doubt.
the devil meant for evil, God meant for.
Always does.
So
Always
he
does.
tokenism is meant for just a motive, but God can change it into something.
Tokenism is something. It's bullshit, bro. I don't care how we get there.
That's true.
It makes
come
me
on, Jay.
absolutely no difference how we
Jay,
get
you
there.
got 50. You got 50
I'm
right
just
now.
being honest. I don't care what we get too caught up into what shit looks like, bro. We got to get over that.
Yeah.
We just need to get there.
there.
Let's just get there. And once we get there, we're gonna take advantage of the opportunity.
You know,
And that's
one
the
of the
way I
things,
see it.
Now we're
one of the
talking.
things that Keegan said on one of the earlier podcasts is he understood that tokenism was a thing, but he said he only got there to infiltrate and then be able to come back
Trojan
and do
horse.
his own thing, be
Trojan
a Trojan
horse.
horse. And so
Absolutely.
that's absolutely like, you know, and before it was like tokenism, that's a pathway. Right? That's a pathway. And with that pathway, just like Mark just said, 50, 60, 70 years ago, when the first black insurance agent was there, didn't know there was going to be a guy that was going to own his own agency.
Yeah. Let me make that point crystal clear for you, Ivan. I'm a member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. I'm a Sigma. Blue Phi.
Go ahead and scream it out loud.
You know.
Yeah,
You know.
scream it out loud then. You know how that works.
So one of our founders, A. Lincoln Taylor, was an insurance agent. Was founded back in 1914, right? He was an insurance agent. And to your point, it's 2022, and I actually have my own insurance. Actually serve my people with products that can help them manage their lives. And so, yes, to your point, when he was doing it, it was like, man, this is tough. Trailblazing.
Yeah.
When you're
That's good. That's
trailblazing,
good.
when you got to chop down them trees, it's difficult. And you
It
can't
is.
see what's going to happen on the other side of that forest. But now it's been excavated. It's been graded. And I got
good.
other guys like me and other females like me that's coming through and doing that work. So to your point about our Supreme Court just nominee today, yes, she's the first. And you're right. I'm like, I want more, but I'll take this right now because what I can get. Later on downstream, the girl she impacts today will be in that same boat, and it might be more like her 10, 15 years from now. Because to your point, like Dick Gregory or like Moses
Right.
or like Martin Luther King, it may not be in your lifetime. You got to plant the seed. Steve going to water it. You're going to prune what grows. Take it to harvest.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm going to put that on the reel. That was good. But we got to learn, in my opinion, how to scrutinize without impeding progress. We can scrutinize certain decisions and ask questions about them and still say what Jay said. I don't care how we get there. Because,
Yeah.
truthfully, I asked the question about, is it tokenism? But I don't care either.
Yeah.
I want her in the position. I want her in that seat.
I think we have to be careful with our scrutiny. We had a conversation earlier in the barbershop, and I'm like, I'm not even gonna speak on that because I got my reason. Like, hey, once it's all said and done, it's fair game. Just
Yeah.
can't change it at that point. But
You
right
gonna
now,
speak on it then.
right now, I'm locked in. I'm not saying anything, and I think that we have to understand timing. Like sometimes, this is not perfect.
No.
It's what we got. So once we get there, we can use this as a vessel to keep going.
But we gotta let
But
them
we
know
tear it
ultimately-
down sometimes before we can actually get
But
there.
we
That
gotta let
part.
them ultimately
That part.
know that what's our real goal too.
Accountability, though. That's
But
accountability.
What I'm
But
saying is what our goal is ultimately for the collective too as well. We can't lose that.
But
lose
when
that,
you're
but we
playing
gotta-
cards, you can't continue to lay your cards on the table and expect to win.
You got to play your
You
hand.
got to play your hand,
You got-
not let them know
yeah.
what's in your
And be
hand.
able to
That's
celebrate
good.
the
That's
small
good, Jay.
victories.
The small
That's
victories.
good.
Because you know
Jay,
what?
You got me on that. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Because
That's good.
one
That's
hand,
good.
you might not get no spades,
Exactly.
but you might get some split books.
I don't know how
I was
to
about to
play.
say, if they don't know you don't got no, you still dangerous.
So hold on. Hold on.
No, let's move on.
Hold on.
Move on.
Hold on.
No, just move on.
Hold
Move
on.
on.
Give me
What?
This man just said he does not know how to play spades.
Yes.
Who said that?
Steve.
I knew you missed it.
So,
I heard it.
I knew I heard
No.
it. I was just kind of like,
Hey,
I was
Mark,
just hoping nobody
one
else.
way
This is my
ticket.
last. This is my last podcast until you learn, bro.
Hey,
You can't play spades?
Mark, one-way ticket, first class, Russia. He's out of here.
Out of
He's
here.
out of here.
What? Out of here.
Out of here.
So they said, listen, if we win the war, don't try to come back to me then.
Hell no, we don't. We won't.
Man, you can't play spades?
Yeah.
Hold on, stop the press.
Whoa.
Hey,
We're gonna
listen.
teach Steve how to
Do
play.
I
We got
really?
to.
Do I
We're gonna
really?
teach
Can I be honest? Do I really lose my black card if I can't play
Yes.
spades?
Absolutely.
Yes.
We
Absolutely.
gonna go president Biden on you.
Yes.
You are not
You are
black.
not black if you can't play spades.
My mother taught me how to play spades.
That's a fact.
And gin and tunk.
For
Right.
real.
Everybody in the world knows there's only one hood game, and that's pity pat.
Nah.
No,
You know how to play pity pat?
absolutely.
You know how
I
to
didn't got to fight over pity pat. No, well,
I'm out. I'm out, bro.
I know the
Oh,
juice.
y'all play pity pat and Uno. I got it.
Here's the thing
It's
about
Adi
spades.
Clear War.
Since we
It's
talking about
Adi
spades,
Clear War.
here's-
Yeah.
Spades get too intense. Y'all Negroes are crazy when it comes
What's
to
too
spades.
intense?
What's too
in
intense?
cards,
Y'all,
bro?
listen, Jay.
No.
we from
Now
the
you
same
sounded
place.
like you from
How many
Russia.
fights have you seen over spades?
It doesn't matter. It's serious.
It's
It's serious business.
Spades.
you
It's
sound
Pay
like
attention.
you're
Jay,
Who the
it's
best spades
serious.
player in here?
I am.
It's me.
I am.
Clearly it's me.
I'll take any.
Hey,
any
Listen,
give me.
nobody will beat
Oh,
me,
Mark, you
bro.
like that?
Like that.
yes. Oh my God, that
It
is
seems sound like
classic.
he from a different country. Talking about it gets too serious.
I'm like, it's no such thing as too serious,
Too
bro.
serious.
Niggas be going crazy.
Hey,
Niggas.
I have flipped a table before.
Yes,
Yes.
indeed.
Yes.
Oh, man.
It
yes.
goes down.
Especially
Yes.
when you renege. Like,
Yes.
come on,
Yeah.
man. Like,
But black people, before we go, we got so many different traditions like spades, cookouts, church. It's so many things that we've done together that kind of make our community who we are, and bring us together. And that's why, man, for me, I fight for our community and the validity of who we are and what we're trying to become. Because, man, we're important to this culture. We're absolutely important to the American fabric. In fact, as Jay always said, we are America.
Yes.
We're American history. And I want to make sure that we're always being touted in that light, Mark. And before we go, man, I want to kind of on a serious note, man, to the Ukrainian people. I've already said it earlier, man, but we talked about it and kind of made light of it a little bit. But on a serious note, women and children are being affected. People are being affected. We can possibly be affected because we are, regardless of what our reasons for being in this war, we can be affected by it.
Yeah.
Because if Putin, who you guys say he is, and if he's a dictator and he wants absolute power, Hitler-esque, then he's not going to just stop with Ukraine. So we got to stay in prayer. Mark, what would you tell the American people in a situation like this? And everybody can kind of go before we wrap up. What would you tell the American people, how to brace for, maybe what's coming, keep their heads, or whatever advice you may have, even for this war, because it could lead to something or it could lead to nothing. But what advice a wise man like yourself, Jay, you can go next, and Keegan and Ivan, we'll wrap up.
Well, I only have one piece of advice that I can give, because in war, you expect the unexpected.
Absolutely, that's good.
And so the only advice that I could possibly give is pray.
Come on.
Because none of us know the outcome, where this is going to go, where it's going to end. And anytime man is involved, a mess is involved.
That's
So
good.
all I
That's
can say to
good.
that is just pray.
Anytime a man involved, a mess is involved. Go ahead, Jake. My goodness.
And all the ladies clap.
I'll simply say to echo pretty much what Mark said. I really can't even offer advice because I have no idea what that situation, could even be like. So I will simply say that, I believe in effectual prayer. And so let's just, let's just stay
Absolutely.
focused on that.
I'll say 2 points. One, I gave Jay a counter argument, but to Jay's point, if I'm a leader of a country, I have to ask myself, why am I going to allow another country to tell me I can't be bigger than what I am? So I do understand a Putin or a Kim Jong-un. Why can't I have nuclear weapons and you can? Right? When you're shown yours to be what you are. So I do understand their point for self-preservation. So I do understand that point. I don't want to be. I'll be remiss if I didn't actually make that point. But to me, when it comes to war always have an economic result.
It does.
Mm-hmm. Right? So I tell people all the time, and specifically black people, focus on getting your net worth up. Not just your checking account, not just your credit score, but get your net worth up. Because it's going to help you navigate how the country's going to position itself over the next couple of years. Because you see what inflation looks like. I know I'm going away from Ukraine. I don't live in Ukraine. I'm just going to be honest with you. Was they praying for me when I was in slavery? Different story. But
Wow.
You should have said that earlier.
But
I think you should have said that shit earlier.
But my point is, inflation is above 7%.
It is. Oh my goodness.
Buying a new car is over 40% of what it used to cost a year ago.
We ain't even getting it. My goodness.
So what you're starting to see is a pricing out of the top 10% and the bottom 60%.
It's strategic.
Can we talk about, hold on, Tim, can we talk about inflation for a second?
Yeah.
Just for 1 second.
So,
my goodness.
It's crazy right now. It is nuts. The dollar store increased their prices by a quarter.
You can't do that.
So here's the point. People might say, it's just a quarter. That is a 25% increase.
25% increase.
Right?
Yep.
At the dollar store.
25% increase.
So my point is, and for guys and people in the room, we have made it successfully financially. So I get it. For the working class person, that's a hit.
It's strategically
That's
priced.
a hit.
We talked about that
market,
earlier
bro.
this week, Mark.
It's strategic. Don't be fooled by it. Like the price of housing, bro. I could sell my house right now for 3 times what I paid for. And my house ain't 10 years old. I could sell it 3 times. And I'm gonna tell you, like, building materials, a piece of plywood, OSB we call it. A lot of people that don't know any better, you call it particle board. Back in November, last year it went up to like $48 a sheet. Used to could buy it for $5. Wow. Back in November,
how much you said?
End of October, $48.
Good God.
It went back down to like $14. You know how much it was today when I walked in Home Depot? $45. Supply chain issues or getting you niggas out of the way.
That's what it is.
Pay attention.
That's my point.
Pay attention.
That's my point.
It's very strategic.
That's my point. So to my point about focus on getting your network, that means spend a little bit less, save a little bit more, be very judicious with your money nowadays. Because you are being priced out of the market.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. You cannot find a house in Charlotte, new construction, under $250,000 before you put granite in, before you put hardwood in, before you put a backsplash in. Not under $250,000. I don't care where you at.
Go rent a 1-bedroom apartment in Charlotte.
Exactly.
Facts.
That's ridiculous.
Right now.
Facts.
You can't get a 1-bedroom apartment in Charlotte for under like $1,600.
No question.
Facts. So to that point, Steve, I pray for everyone. I'm a Christian, but the Ukraine situation is a Ukraine situation. I'm looking at my people right now who's in this country right now, but they go through hell financially.
Is inflation, but is the war affecting the inflation is what I'm saying.
It's going to be used as an excuse, just like COVID was used as an excuse. It's strategic to Jay's point. It is part of, we're going to price you into a slave position, which it's been going on since Jim Crow.
Which begs the question of America, why are you so violent? Because
America was built on violence.
And that's what I'm going.
Thank you, Jay.
I mean, it was built on.
See, specific situations we can give us. Listen, I'm willing to give America kudos for what we can do, but I have to stand in the gap for what they don't do and what they are truly and what we've become. And they're showing their hand. And I hate to keep saying they because I am proud to be in
the
American.
change of America lives inside of you. It lives inside of each and every one of us.
It does.
Mm-hmm. And so we keep talking about America as if it's over there. But America is right here.
Right here. That's
so
true.
we got, you know what I mean? One brother at a time.
Mm.
You know, each one teach one. Like, you know, Keegan is giving us, financial jewels right now.
Absolutely.
Telling us
Can I give
we
a
gotta
plug?
be
Can I give a
prepared.
plug real quick for
Please
Keegan?
do. Please do.
Because here's what it is, guys. We have a show coming. And it's going to be integrating. It's called Keegan's Corner. Man, everybody give a shout out to that.
No doubt.
It's called
No
Keegan's
doubt.
Corner.
Yeah.
And it's going to give basic financial education for people for stuff like this. This man is a financial guru. This man has done well for himself. This
Phenomenal.
unbelievable. He
Thank
can
you.
articulate. He can speak it. And the number one thing he leads with that you're going to see differently from Keegan and everybody else, he leads with empathy. When you talk to this man, he doesn't make you feel like you made a mistake. He makes you feel like you can keep building.
That's beautiful.
Every time he talks to you, it doesn't matter what the situation is. He finds a way to make you feel like you can keep doing it. That's what we need from our financial gurus. Because normally all we're getting is lectures.
Yeah. Right.
Well, you ain't do this. Well, you ain't do this. You don't know what happened in people's life.
You don't know.
Right.
You don't know what steps they took. You don't know how they got there. Some people got lucky. Some people did. We got scammers out there. Everybody pretend like, come on, Jay. Everybody ain't getting out the fucking mud.
They did.
Like they say
That's
they
true.
did.
That's true.
Let's be honest. Everybody takes a different pathway, but it takes empathy. Men like this, men like Mark. Mark, you're a brilliant businessman. And then when we write our story, this is the next participant on that to talk about his story. But we got so many different brilliant black people in this country that we're talking about that's going to help move the needle, and Keegan is one of them. So guys, be prepared for that with Keegan's Corner. Keegan, do you want to talk about a little bit about that before we close up?
Well, I'm gonna let Ivan go too, but really quick.
My bad, purple shirt.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
But I'll say really quick that we're going to talk about things that help us move the needle in risk management, budgeting, life insurance to help us protect what matters. That's our assets, right? We bust our ass to get the bag, but we don't protect the bag, right? Because truth be told, we all got young kids. If you leave here tomorrow, will your kids' dreams still be realized? That's the question you got to ask yourself. If we're not planning for that, we're missing the boat as men, as husbands, as fathers. So we're going to talk about all that stuff on that particular part of the podcast. But Ivan, go ahead.
When it comes to Ukraine, all I can really offer is, prayer, be prayerful, be mindful, but and be vigilant.
That's
at
good.
this
That's good.
point in time, look, it's about you and your family and the people that you love. And so you do whatever you can to make sure you can hold them as close as possible. And to that note, one of the things that I think that we're missing in society right now, because with COVID and so many different things that is going on, we've built this huge wedge between us. The next time you're with somebody or you think about somebody, pick up the phone and call them.
Come on, Ivan. Come on, Ivan.
What? Speak to that person
That's
that
good.
looks like they're not engaged in what it is that they're doing when you're in the gym or when you're at work. Talk to that person. Speak to that person. I have a friend who just lost somebody recently within the last week or so. Young girl, 27 years old, blew her brains out here in Charlotte, North Carolina. She was a trainer, bodybuilder, doing all these different things for her life, and you don't know what was the thing that triggered and caused her to be able to just say, I just want to give it all away. So we need to be more active about being showing empathy for somebody and just being able to just speak to them. Speak to them. Let them know that you're thinking about them. Help keep them encouraged, because there's so many things that's happened during this time. We got foreclosures that are coming up. We have a lot of evictions that are coming up. So many people are still in financial desolate because of everything that's happened with COVID. So just keep your family close and speak to a person when they come up on you.
That's Ivan.
Yeah.
I could have waited for that. That was good. That was good, man. And I think, that's prevalent, man. You talking about checking up on your people, checking up on the people that you love. That's your circle of influence. Those are the people you see every day. Mark, we've grown close. Keegan, we've grown close. Ivan, we've grown close. Jay, we've grown close. We got to check on each other.
Yeah.
Do not, before I end this, if you have not loved me with all your heart and you say you have, do not come to my funeral crying over me.
Right.
don't,
Give
I'm
him
gonna wake the
flowers
fuck
right
up and slap you. No cap.
You won't get a
Don't
chance to
come-
slap me, bro. Because you start raising up, I'm out of there.
I'm out of there.
I'm out, bro.
Stand there and let you slap him? I like to know.
Yeah, bro.
That's a fact.
I'm out. I ain't even worried about that part.
Jay, you out of there?
I'm out, bro.
Hey, listen. Every time I be going to funerals, I be like, boy, if they wake up, I'm out of this bitch right now. I see one flinch. I'm done.
That's like people be at funerals be like, Mama, get up. Get up.
Yeah.
Yeah, no
she-
good.
If mama got up.
Mama, get up.
I'm out. 2 fingers. 2 fingers.
Listen, man. Listen, y'all subscribe to the Deep Surface Pod, man, on YouTube. Y'all subscribe on Instagram, Deep Surface Pod, man. We got a lot coming to y'all. We got merch coming to y'all. I got something special coming to you guys with my new brand too as well. That's coming, man. Listen, we gonna continue to move the culture forward. This is what this is about, man. We argue, we debate, we disagree, but we're not disagreeable. We understand the task at hand is moving our culture forward. If we have to use other topics to help us realize that, if we have to talk about certain things that are uncomfortable to realize that, we will. But the main goal that Jay has, that Mark has, that I have, that Keegan, that Ivan have, is to move the culture forward. We're going to die empty. We're not going to die full. We're going to give everything we got to this culture, man. So we appreciate everybody tuning in. We just had an unbelievable, epic podcast, and prayers out once again to the Ukrainian people, that everybody makes it out this war and we find peace. We out.